This is Middle East Matters here on France 24. I'm Hala Mohyeddin. Coming up in today's programme, 4 hospitals destroyed in just 2 weeks. We'll take you inside Aleppo, where doctors are the new targets in the Syrian war. The game of football is widening political divides rather than bridging them, as the beautiful game gets dragged into the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And older women, prostitutes and lesbians finally find their voice, thanks to a new play currently making waves over in Lebanon. Well, we begin, though, in Aleppo, where attacks against rebel-held positions have intensified. One disturbing development, however, has been the targeting of medical facilities, provoking horror from NGOs and the UN. Julia Seeger brings us this report.
Aleppo's main hospital reduced to rubble. It's the 3rd time in a week that the medical facility is hit by airstrikes as government forces and Russian aviation continue their campaign to retake the city. Moscow has denied deliberately targeting the facility, but according to the White Helmets, a volunteer group of first responders in Syria, clinics and hospitals have been the primary targets in the last 3 months.
In Syria, our situation is very different than in any other country. Elsewhere in the world, there's always a cross or a crescent to indicate that there's a hospital so that it's not bombarded. In Syria, even ambulances are painted in a different colour to look like any other car and avoid being targeted. Hospitals and medical centres have also been placed underground to avoid being shelled.
This latest attack brings the total number of hospitals destroyed by airstrikes to 4, since government forces launched an offensive to take full control of Aleppo in late September. The city is now left with only 5 intensive care beds for 250,000 people. Patients have nowhere left to go, and no medicines are available to treat even the most common ailments. According to Amnesty International, targeting hospitals and medics has become a war strategy.
You attack and you bombard relentlessly hospitals, but also other civilian infrastructure. You force the civilians to flee, and you empty villages and you empty the cities. And like that, it's an advantage for the terrestrial forces to advance and to take the city and to claim victory over the city.
The NGO Physicians for Human Rights has reported more than 300 attacks on medical facilities across the country since the beginning of the Syrian conflict. Attacks that have killed more than 700 health workers.
A Red Cross staffer, meanwhile, has been freed after almost a year in captivity in Yemen. French-Tunisian national Nouran Houas was released after mediation by Omani authorities. Oman is the only Gulf Arab state that is not part of the Saudi-led coalition that has been waging war on Houthi rebels since March of last year. To Iraq now, where the coalition against the Islamic State group is readying for the battle for Mosul. Iraq's 2nd largest city has been under extremist control since 2014, and the operation to retake the city is imminent. But what's really at stake here? Josh Vardy reports now on the potential pitfalls the armies face.
The city of Mosul sits in this desert valley, its suburbs clearly visible from these hills. Kurdish Peshmerga troops have been hauling cannons up here while the Iraqi army takes up position along the front line held by the Islamic State group. They are the soldiers due to lead the great offensive on Mosul in the coming weeks. They have the greatest resources and currently sit 50 kilometers from the jihadist stronghold. Constant fighting over the past few months now finds the Islamic State group surrounded in the city. The Kurds are positioned to the north and east of Mosul, while the Iraqi army is coming from the south. The US has helped to train these soldiers, especially at Makhmur, where 600 supplementary troops are due to arrive in the coming days. France has also sent 4 artillery cannons to El Qayyara, which sits 65 kilometers from Mosul. This airbase was taken back from the Islamic State group in August and will serve as a crucial logistics point. Meanwhile, Mosul itself and its estimated 1.5 million inhabitants wait to be reconquered, a campaign expected to be long and dangerous to cover Mosul's 200 kilometers squared. The Iraqi army already took 2 months to clear Ramadi and a month for Fallujah, 2 cities a lot smaller than Mosul and filled with booby traps. Soldiers went from house to house to clear out Islamic State fighters. The other major issue is working out how to minimize civilian casualties in such a densely populated area. The United Nations is preparing for a large exodus of the population. Up to 700,000 people could flee the city once the assault is launched.
Now, the beautiful game is at the centre of an ugly spat. The Palestinians accuse Israeli football clubs of playing games in Israeli settlements on occupied land. FIFA is set to address the controversy in the coming days, but itself stands accused of sponsoring matches held on land illegally seized from the Palestinians.
Bringing politics to the pitch. This is where the small Israeli football club of Ariel City trains. It plays in Israel's lower leagues and barely attracts more than 100 spectators on match day at home. A small club that's now at the heart of a complex geopolitical issue.
It's very funny me that our team, very poor team and very poor club, come to the headlines of all over the world.
Along with 5 other Israeli football clubs based in Jewish settlements in the West Bank, the Ariel City Football Club has come under fire from critics, as the settlements are considered illegal under international law. The Palestinian Authority, along with NGOs, European MPs, and thousands of petitioners, are now urging FIFA to act and force the Israeli Football League to relocate the clubs within the borders of Israel, or to ban them from competing altogether. Human Rights Watch goes even further and says FIFA is breaking its own rulebook.
These are human rights violations that FIFA should not be contributing to. We are asking FIFA and the Israel Football Association to stop holding matches in unlawful settlements and to simply move those fields to inside Israel where Israeli players can play.
The Palestinian Football Federation has welcomed the NGO's move. Palestinian players often struggle just to find a place where they can all meet for practice because of Israeli restrictions on movement for Palestinians in the occupied territories. Last August, the Gaza team, which made it to the finals of the Palestinian Football Cup, had to play with only 9 players on the field, the rest of the team being stranded at the border by the military. But the Israeli Football League rejects the Palestinian campaign as an attempt to politicize sports.
According to agreements between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, the land is not defined as occupied land, but as a disputed area, whose fate will be determined through negotiations between the 2 sides. Not between the 2 sides and FIFA, not between the 2 sides and a third party.
FIFA is due to decide whether Israel should ban the Jewish settlement clubs from the National Football League in the coming days. If it refuses to comply, it could be suspended from international competition.
Cultural news now, and a new play in Lebanon is making waves. Cage confronts the criticism of women in Lebanese society and gives voice to those often silenced. Well, that's according to the playwright herself. We take a look now at this brave new work, creating a stir in Beirut.
A safe setting away from the judgments of men. The Cage brings 5 different women together at the gynecologist's office to vent their frustrations as to how they're perceived in Lebanese society. Lama is menopausal. Zina wears a niqab. Abia has weight issues. Jara is a lesbian. And Aiba works as a prostitute. All issues confronted by the play, which portrays them as taboo. Feminist author and poet Jumana Haddad says she wants to break the silence.
The aim of the play is to say out loud everything we are afraid to say in normal life, all those things that people forbid us to say. It's also a way of resisting through words and actions. It's our right to exist, our right to dignity.
The cage of the play's title refers to a metaphorical cage imprisoning Arabic women and keeping their true desires hidden. the role of homosexuality in society is openly discussed.
The love between two women is very tender and very real. I'm also talking about how society can sometimes be so cruel and unjust about love.
It's without doubt one of the bravest plays put on in Beirut for some time.
The Cage's depiction of women confronting their difficulties without fear has already met with success. Its run has been extended to the 30th of October.
And we'll finish up with more from the arts world. A groundbreaking new play in Cairo, which opens up the Egyptian theatre scene to the hearing impaired. Eter features a cast of 5 hearing and 7 hearing impaired actors. Well, it's a work which has been designed for a mixed audience and comes after the director of the play learned that there are some 5 million people in Egypt with hearing difficulties. Well, the work mixes comedy, dance and drama and looks like something of a crowd pleaser. So we do recommend checking that out if you are in Cairo. And that's it from me and the Middle East Matters team. It's been great having you with us. Do remember to follow us on Twitter or our Facebook page for all the latest developments across the Middle East. And we'll look forward to seeing you at the same time next week. Stay with us on France 24.